American Humane officials say many shelters do not allow pets or animals during storms like these, making it difficult to keep them safe. As people start to recover, organizations like American Humane are stepping in to help those impacted by the storm. Joining us now, the CEO and president of the organization, Dr. Robin Ganzert. Thank you so much for being here. Tell me what the situation is like in trying to assess how many pets there are that people couldn't take or that are in need.
I tell you what we get so upset and concerned about is in times of evacuation, to save human lives, we must also welcome their pets into our shelters around disaster-prone areas. That is how we literally save human lives. So right now, American Humane is staged and ready at the invitation of local government officials to deploy and to actually provide those families with the reassurances that we will rescue their pets and reunite them. And that's critical and crucial in times like this. And we are worried about those rising potential floodwaters.
Right. So tell me about the logistics of getting to these animals in places that are hard to get to right now, that don't have power.
First of all, we are already staged. We have headquarters in Florida, so we have already staged our disaster response cache, a huge rescue truck full of boats and all sorts of equipment. We have disaster teams, as you know, on the ground in North Carolina. They just finished their deployment in Georgia, and they're ready to move forward into Florida. We're on standby now, and again, once we are on standby, that means all of our equipment and our staff and volunteers are ready to go in at the invitation of local communities. And that's very important, you know, thinking about those invitations. A lot of people think you can just rush in to go and save animal lives, and it's not simply done. We must have the cooperation and the invitation of local governments to be able to go in and provide disaster relief.
I think about how scared people are in these situations, and animals are the same. And then there's the animal instinct, right? They go to where they think is the safest place. Talk about animal behavior, especially as you come across these animals who have survived some very scary storm moments.
Well, we rode out the storm in my house in South Florida last night. All of my fur babies were all in bed together, and they were very anxious. I went out and made sure they had special treats in advance just to be able to provide some ways to calm. Animals do sense storm movements. They sense that, and they are very anxious. We provide a series of tips before the disaster hits so that you can make sure that you have your animal with you, such as having the harnesses on them, the leashes to be able to be ready to evacuate right away. Those are our companion animals in our homes, but think about the animals not in our homes. Outdoor kitties, for example, are next to impossible to find in the hours preceding a storm. So that's why American Humane is there, is we're able to go in and reunite those outdoor animals too, and make sure those are taken care of and reunited with their families. So animals do sense the storms, and if they're in our own houses, we sure make sure that we are comforting them and understanding that they mirror our own anxiety.
Yeah, my dog, I mean, there's thunder outside. Boy, she is right at our side and panting and very scared. So it's very anxiety-ridden for them. Do you have a lot of abandoned animals after these big disasters, adoptable pets?
Unfortunately, there are cases of animals that have been abandoned. We saw a horrific case of it yesterday where a Florida Highway Patrol officer rescued a dog that was tied to the fence. So when that family evacuated, what they did was the most horrific example of animal abuse that I can imagine. And they tied that dog in rising floodwaters to a fence. And I thank God every moment for that officer going in there, seeing that dog and rescuing that dog and bringing him to a shelter. So when I see these situations happen, it reminds us that we see the best of humankind, and then we also see those examples of abuse and neglect. All animals deserve protection. They deserve to be sheltered and cared for. And I would prefer for that family, they would have dropped that wonderful pet off at a local shelter prior to the storm rather than exposing them to the elements.
Yeah, you got to wonder, what were they thinking? Give that dog a chance. Well, hopefully that dog finds a good home. He's doing all right now. Again, thanks to that trooper. Dr. Robin Ganzert, thanks for the work that you're doing, getting the important message out. We love our pets, and we want to make sure they can make it through these storms.
Absolutely. Thank you. And American Humane is there to help.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.